Emotions. Emotions are very tricky. Not everybody wears their emotions on their shoulder so that everybody can see, so people can come up and pat you on the back and say, it's going to be okay, or whatever, or we'll help you through it, or things like that. Because in most cases, nobody really means that. They're just there to pacify and make themselves feel better. And not everybody can bury their emotions so deep in their gut that not even their best friends can tell that something's going on in their lives. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself, give you a story about my past that helped me realize how I used to handle my emotions and my feelings, and then how I've changed them to help balance my life out. Growing up, my brother and I, we had actually a very good childhood. So we thought that because everybody would tell us so. All of our close friends would tell us, "Man, you guys have the Leave It to Beaver family." The Leave It to Beaver family was more of a act. Come to find out as we got older. Either my parents were really good at hiding things from us when we were growing up, or my brother and I got really good at ignoring them all and just choosing not to deal with them. And that's one of the biggest issues, is choice. One day we had a lady and a young girl come banging at our door. And at the time I was about 17 or 18 years old. And it was during the day. I opened the door and the lady politely asked for my dad. So my dad not being there, my mom came to the door and shooed me and my brother away. Come to find out, what that was an old mistress of my dad's. We also had, and that little girl that she was with was our half sibling. She was about a year and a half younger than me, and my brother's 3.5 years younger than me, so she was right in between us. And at the age of 17 or 18, we're finding out about all this, and we had no idea what was going on while we were younger. But apparently my mom knew what was going on. She forgave my dad. My dad apparently promised to never do anything like that again. And things went on. Well, later on, about a week later, my dad came to my brother and I and asked us if we were interested in meeting our half-sibling, our half-sister, and talked to us about what he did in the past, and we didn't really ever admit to anything, of course, but you know, just talking about it was the truth. And my brother and I both chose not to. We did not want to meet our half-sister. We really had no feeling or any want to meet this person. She didn't grow up the way we did, and we really didn't feel it. So then we put that behind us. Nobody ever talked about it again, and we just continued on. Well, as a year or two later went on, my dad started going out again, and at first it was with my mom and maybe a few times, and then after that he was going out by himself. And he was going out with his buddies, go to the neighborhood bar. There's a couple bars in the neighborhood, and that's where they always hung out. You could always find them at one of those places. And my brother and I, we just thought, yeah, my dad's a cool guy. He's hanging out with his buddies or whatever. And every so often, we'd go hang out with them. And you know, even though we were still underage, it didn't make a difference. It's a neighborhood bar. You can do anything in there. It doesn't make a difference. Then later on, after I guess a little while of that, finally, of course, the inevitable happens. One of my mom's friends came to her and said that my dad was cheating on her. And she gave her specifics. Lady's name, what they were doing, when they were doing it, where you can catch them, and all that good stuff. So of course, with some investigation, my mom eventually busted him. My dad completely denied the whole thing and then moved in with his girlfriend. My mom, of course, being distraught and distressed, she moved out and got her own apartment. So that left my brother and I at the house by ourselves. The good thing is we never had to pay for our bills or anything like that. The house note got taken care of, the electricity, the water, the gas, all that good stuff. But we did have to fend for ourselves when it came to food and anything else we wanted to do. So But what was happening is that my brother and I, we started doing a lot of partying, a lot of drinking, a lot of people would come over. Our house became the party house. Didn't matter what time, in the morning, at night, whatever, people banging on our doors, we let them in, people sleeping on our couches, and it just became the party house. And my brother and I, what we were trying to do was, I guess looking back now, was to drown our issues and our problems. And for whatever reason, I was actually mad at my mom. Looking back on it now, I don't even know why that was even a factor. I was mad at my mom for some reason, and during the whole ordeal, it went on for about 2.5 years where my brother and I lived by ourselves, and really did not want to talk to my mom so much for whatever reason. I don't know why I was mad at her. Like I said, we tried to party and drink our problems away. And I guess being the man of the house now, I could tell when our stress levels got too high between my brother and I. My brother and I, of course, we had the standard love-hate relationship. We loved each other, but we loved to beat the mess out of each other too, just mostly out of just brotherly love is what you call it, I guess. But a lot of times you could eventually tell that it was more than that, and it wasn't towards me. It was just pure frustration, especially on his part too. So every so often, and over the 2.5 years, it only happened a handful of times, but I would ask him, hey, you want to go outside and hit the punching bag? And I remember the stress level and the tension in the house just being so strong at the time. You want to go hit the punching bag? Yeah, let's go. And we would keep the punching bag in the house because we didn't want it to get weathered, but we had a chain hanging out back over the tree. We'd go hang up the punching bag and we would beat on it. And many of those times we beat on it till our tears were running, pure frustration, pure hatred, pure meanness just pouring out of us, and just down to tears until our arms were weak and we couldn't even get the punching bag off the tree anymore. We'd have to wait and come back and get it later. Well, what that was is the bury down. Even though we had people around us all the time, they didn't know what my brother and I were dealing with at the time. We were a little older, older than most, but that just means we understood more, and we had a lot more years to look back and reflect on the things that we had been omitting from our day-to-day. Well, in conclusion, what happens over time is you have to find a way to release those deep down emotions, because they do tear at you, they do wear at you. And not until a couple of years ago have I started to find other ways to let my emotions out. So what was happening is I was keeping them all to myself. My wife didn't know what was going on in my I guess my personal life. I wouldn't tell her what was going on. And I would come home and just be frustrated with her. It started affecting my health. I wasn't eating as much. I sure wasn't sleeping. And you just have to find comfortable ways of letting it out. And for guys, it's not easy to talk. It's not easy for us to talk about things. And I'm not one of those guys to wear your feelings on the shoulders, because the people that I know that do that, I don't like to be with them so much, especially during a traumatic time in their lives. And just like, they're always telling you everything about themselves, and just really didn't dig it. But then you also can't be that person that just buries it down, because then you just one day explode. I remember during those party years not caring, and it was actually in a self-destructive mode. Didn't care about anything. Looked down the barrel of a gun before with almost zero fear. I did have some, but didn't care. There's a difference there. Fear and caring is two different things. And got me and my friends into a lot of trouble just because I wouldn't back down. I wouldn't do anything. But anyways, you have to find a happy medium. Find a happy medium. There's different ways to do it. That's going to be for a whole nother lecture. But don't let your feelings control you. Release the pressure. Thank you.